Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Father.
A Quaker minister whose name is Edward Hicks was also well known as a painter. And he is probably the best known for painting one particular picture. And the picture is named A Peaceable Kingdom. I should say pictures because he apparently painted at least 66 versions of that same picture. Some say over 100 versions. It depicts various animals gathered together in the presence of little children. There is an ox, a lion, a leopard, and a cow. At the bottom of the picture, there is an inscription which reads Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6. Now this picture hangs proudly at the Met in New York City. And I was just talking to Deacon Chris before Mass, and he went to the Worcester Art Museum, and you can also find that picture in that particular museum. So if you want to go and see it, and you're in Worcester, there it is. Now, Hicks painted it because of the rift and divisions that took place in the Quaker community in 1820s. And the picture is a beautiful illustration of today's first reading from the book of the prophet Isaiah. It is a vision of the world that lives in peace. Now, as we mentioned last week, the book of Isaiah was most likely Jesus' favorite book in the Hebrew Scriptures. So today we continue to read from that book. And this is how Isaiah describes the mountain of the Lord, that place of peace, where people live together in harmony. He says, "Then the wolf shall be a guest of the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid. The calf and the young lion shall browse together with a little child to guide them. The cow and the bear shall be neighbors. Together their young shall rest. The lion shall eat hay like the ox. The baby shall play at the cobra's den, and the child lay his hand on the adder's lair. There shall be no harm or ruin on my holy mountain, for the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the Lord." Now, this vision mirrors the Garden of Eden, the paradise. As Isaiah is looking into the future, he takes us back to the beginning, to the book of Genesis, to the story of creation, to the garden where wild animals and the first human beings lived together in peace to the time before the fall. They play together. They have fun. We see an ox, a lion, a leopard, a lamb, an infant, a little child play together. What caught my attention about this vision of Isaiah, for the first time, I have to say, is that the main characters in that vision, I don't know if you noticed, are not adult animals or adult human beings. The main characters are a calf, a young lion, the kid, an infant, and a little child. So what we see is animal children and human children. They are playing together and living in peace. That's very striking. And maybe that's why Jesus on so many occasions reminds us, you have to become like a child in order to enter the kingdom of God. Now, the lives of children are filled with dreams. Their imagination knows no limits. They can spend hours upon hours in their imaginary world playing, as if the world outside their world did not even exist. See, what we see in Isaiah is God's dream for the world. And I like the idea that God has a dream for us and for the world. Dreams have power. They can change us. They shape how we live and what we do. Dreams are necessary for us if we are to have hope. We all have dreams. But today's first reading is not about my dreams for myself. It's about God's dream for us. As important as my dreams may be, Isaiah and Advent is all about God's dream, God's vision. Today's reading, in a way, the first reading, speaks of God who is saying, I have a dream. This is God's I have a dream speech in today's first reading. That's his I have a dream speech. So this Advent season, we invite all of you to ask yourself this simple question. What dream does God have for me? God knows you better than anyone else if we believe that God is who God is. It means that God knows me better than any other human being, better than I know myself. And it is that God that has a dream for you, for me, and for this world. So as you go through Advent, allow yourself to wander about. And when you pray, pray with that question in mind. What is God's dream for me? What is God's dream for the world? I think it's a wonderful, wonderful question to ask during Advent season.